Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our broadcast. Today we are discussing a very interesting question. Should students who fail a test be allowed to retake it? This topic is important for students, their parents, teachers, and our whole education system. We want to understand the different views on this subject. To help us explore this, we have two experienced educators with us. Mr. David Chen, a high school teacher, believes retakes can be beneficial. And Mrs. Sarah Jones, a university lecturer, has some concerns about allowing test retakes too easily. Welcome to you both.
Thank you, Ms. Evans. I believe that allowing students to retake tests is a positive thing for their learning and overall development. It offers them a valuable opportunity. My first point is that education should focus more on learning and understanding, not just on achieving good grades. Tests themselves should be learning opportunities for students. When students fail a test, a retake allows them to identify their mistakes. They can then study the material again and truly understand what they missed the first time. Think about it. Students can learn much more if they are given a chance to try again and correct their errors. This is how real learning happens. Secondly, many students feel a lot of pressure and anxiety during tests. This nervousness can prevent them from showing what they truly know and understand. Knowing that there might be a chance to retake the test can significantly lower this stress. When students are more relaxed, they can perform better and demonstrate their actual abilities. This is especially important for students who are good learners but don't do well under exam pressure. A second chance can help them feel more confident. My third point is about promoting mastery of the subject. The main goal of education is for students to really understand the topics they are studying. If students study again for a retake, they have another opportunity to engage with the material. This encourages them to revisit areas they haven't yet mastered, which leads to deeper and more lasting learning. It's not about making things easy. It's about ensuring students grasp the concepts properly. Ultimately, I believe it's about fairness. We should give students a chance to improve and show they have learned.
Thank you, Ms. Evans. While I understand Mr. Chen's points about learning, I believe that offering unlimited or very easy retakes can have some negative consequences for students and the education system. My primary concern is that if students know they can always retake a test, they might not prepare seriously for the first attempt. This can devalue the importance of the initial test. Students might think, it's okay if I don't study hard now, I can just do it again later. This attitude does not encourage good study habits or discipline from the beginning. Secondly, we need to consider fairness to those students who work very hard to prepare and pass the test on their first try. It can seem quite unfair to them. If one student studies diligently and succeeds, while another does not prepare well, fails, and then gets the same grade through a retake, what message does that send about effort? My third point is about preparing students for the real world. In many situations in life, such as job interviews, important work deadlines, or professional exams, you often have only one chance to succeed. Schools should play a role in preparing students for these realities. They need to learn how to manage their time, prepare thoroughly, and perform under pressure when it matters most. Easy retakes might not help them develop these essential skills. Therefore, I believe we need to think carefully about the message we send regarding responsibility and the consequences of not being prepared.
Thank you both for your clear opening statements. Mr. Chen, Mrs. Jones raised an important point about motivation. She suggested that retakes might make students less motivated for the first test. How would you address this concern? And what about the potential for increased workload for teachers if retakes are common?
Those are valid concerns, Ms. Evans. Regarding motivation, I don't believe retakes automatically lead to less effort for the first test if they are structured properly. We are not talking about an effortless second chance. For example, retakes can come with certain conditions. Students might need to attend extra help sessions with the teacher, complete additional review assignments, or demonstrate that they have made a real effort to understand their mistakes before being allowed a retake. This way, the retake is not just a simple repeat. it becomes part of a continued learning process. The focus remains on learning, not on making it easy for students to pass without genuine effort. As for teacher workload, yes, that is a practical consideration. Managing retakes, creating new versions of tests, and regrading does require extra time from teachers. It's a challenge. However, I believe the benefit to student learning and confidence can outweigh this additional work. Schools could also provide support by developing clear policies, perhaps allocating specific times for retakes, or using technology to help manage the process more efficiently. Ultimately, if a student truly learns the material because of a retake opportunity, that's a positive outcome for everyone involved, even if it means some extra effort from the teaching side. The long-term benefit is a more knowledgeable student.
Thank you, Mr. Chen. Mrs. Jones? Mr. Chen argues that retakes, especially if they come with conditions, really focus on helping students achieve mastery of the subject. Isn't achieving that mastery a primary goal of education, even if it sometimes means offering a second chance to demonstrate it?
Achieving mastery is absolutely a primary goal, Ms. Evans. I agree. However, I question whether offering test retakes is always the best or most efficient way to achieve that mastery for all students. Ideally, good initial teaching, clear explanations, and effective student study habits should lead to mastery and success on the first attempt. Our focus should be strong there. If many students are failing, perhaps we need to look at the teaching methods or the support provided before the test, rather than simply relying on retakes as a solution after the fact. Then there's the issue of resource allocation. Teacher time is limited. Time spent organizing and grading retakes for some students could potentially be spent providing extra help to other students who are struggling, or developing even better initial lesson plans to prevent failure in the first place. Furthermore, I have concerns about the type of learning that might occur when students prepare for a retake. Are they genuinely deepening their understanding of the concepts? Or are they sometimes just memorizing answers specifically for the retest, especially if the retest format is very similar? True mastery means being able to apply knowledge, not just recall it for a short period. We need to ensure that retakes, if used, genuinely promote that deeper level of understanding and not just superficial learning.
Let's consider the practical side of implementing retakes. Mr. Chen, if schools decide to allow retakes, do you believe there should be some limits or specific conditions? For example, how many times should a student be allowed to retake a test, or what is the maximum grade a student could achieve on a retake?
Yes, Ms. Evans, I absolutely agree that there should be reasonable limits and conditions. The goal is to support learning, not to create an endless cycle of retesting or remove all consequences for not being prepared. There are several ways this could be managed. For instance, schools could decide to allow only one retake opportunity per test. This ensures the student takes the process seriously. Another option is to consider how the retake grade is calculated. Perhaps the retake grade could be averaged with the original failed grade, or the grade on the retake could be capped at a certain level. For example, a basic passing grade like a C. This would still allow the student to demonstrate mastery and pass, but it would also acknowledge the initial failure and reward students who passed on the first attempt with the possibility of higher grades. I also believe in flexibility. Different subjects, different age groups of students, or even different types of assessments might need slightly different rules for retakes. The key is to have a clear policy that encourages effort and genuine understanding, rather than just chasing a grade.
Thank you, Mr. Chen. Mrs. Jones, Mr. Chen suggests that implementing conditions, such as limiting the number of retakes or capping the achievable grade, could make retakes more acceptable. From your perspective, would such conditions address your main concerns, or do you feel that fundamental issues with the concept of retakes would still remain?
Introducing conditions, as Mr. Chen suggests, is certainly better than a policy of unlimited or unconditional retakes. It shows an attempt to balance support with responsibility, which I appreciate. However, even with conditions, some of my fundamental concerns do remain. The primary message we send to students about effort, preparation, and meeting deadlines is very important. If retakes become a common expectation, even with limits, it might still subtly reduce the perceived importance of being fully prepared for the first scheduled assessment. There's a risk of that. I believe the main focus should always be on helping students succeed the first time. This means providing excellent teaching, clear learning objectives, good resources, and robust support systems before the test is ever taken, not just offering a solution after they fail. Perhaps in some very specific, rare, and well-documented circumstances, such as a student facing a sudden personal crisis, a retake might be considered. But I am hesitant about it being a general policy, even with conditions, as it might not fully prepare students for future academic and professional challenges where second chances are often not available.
In closing, I want to reiterate my belief that test retakes, when implemented thoughtfully, serve as a valuable tool in education. They support genuine student learning and understanding. Retakes can significantly reduce the often crippling test anxiety that prevents many students from showing what they truly know. They also encourage students to revisit and master material they found challenging. We want our students to learn well and deeply. Retakes provide them with a fair and constructive chance to improve, to understand things better, and to build confidence in their abilities. Education should be about growth, development, and offering second chances when they are appropriate and can lead to better learning outcomes. It's about helping our students succeed, not just about assigning a grade and moving on.
To summarize my position, while I understand the desire to support students, I have significant concerns about the widespread use of test retakes due to issues of fairness, student motivation, and adequate preparation for real-world expectations. It's very important for students to understand the value of putting in their best effort the first time. Life often presents situations with firm deadlines and without easy second chances. Our educational institutions have a responsibility to teach students how to be prepared, how to be responsible, and how to perform when it counts. The focus should be on strong initial teaching and comprehensive student support systems to prevent failure in the first place, rather than relying heavily on retakes. We must equip them with the skills and mindset to succeed from the outset.
Thank you, Mr. Chen, and thank you, Mrs. Jones, for this very insightful and balanced discussion today. You have both presented compelling arguments. Mr. Chen emphasized how retakes can foster deeper learning, reduce anxiety, and offer students a chance to master material, especially if conditions are applied. Mrs. Jones highlighted concerns about maintaining motivation for initial attempts, fairness to all students, and the importance of preparing students for real-world scenarios where second chances are rare. It is clear that this is a complex issue with no easy answers, and valid points have been made on both sides. Thank you to our audience for joining us today for this important conversation.